Hi, this is Luke, and today I'm going to be working through a new project called Code Championship. So I haven't done a lot of setup or prep, so this is going to be watching me actually work through and struggle through some of the code. So today is not necessarily going to be a tutorial, and I'm not going to be moving through things especially quickly, but it is hopefully a way to share what the actual development process looks like near the beginning of our project. So I have done some research and I've created wireframes for this project. So I'll go ahead and pull those up. So I've created wireframes and I want to show what those look like just a little bit here. So what I'm going for. So this is the beginning of a project. I've kind of got an idea in mind for what I would like to do here. So this is for my small business called Avamath, and this summer we're going to be running something called a Code Championship, and that is going to be a competition between kids, and it'll be like a bracket tournament. And so the website I'm creating is going to have a landing page, a home page, which is also going to describe a little bit about it, and then the about page, which will go into more depth, and then the code page, which is where most of the action happens. So most of the action here on the code page is going to be logging in first, and then students will get to select from a list of different challenges here. And the example of what we're going for is essentially two bots that play head-to-head against each other, and then a place to write code over here. And rather than writing our own IDE, we are going to be using the newest version of Scratch. So Scratch is open source, and it's built with React. So I'm going to be building my project in React with the hopes of integrating the Scratch GUI into my project. So I've done a little bit of research, but I'm going to start this code from scratch today. And then the last page will be a register page, and that might just forward to another website where payment can be made, or it might be Stripe integration, but that's a long way down the line, and that's not what I'm going to be working on today. So today is just kind of the setup of a new React project and getting things started and what that's going to look like. So what I'm going to do is start a new project. So I'm not totally sure what I'm going to be doing first or tackling, and I'll probably get started writing some code, and then I'll make a list of what I want to attack next, and that might be where I end today, because that'll take a little while to get set up. So maybe I'll start with just getting the site up and running, doing some routing, and then maybe pulling some of the Scratch GUI into the project, but that'll be at least a few commits from now. So let's see what we can do. So I'm going to cd into documents, and I'm going to see if, I don't know if I already have a project for this. I don't think I do. So I'm going to, maybe inside of my side projects, inside a side, and let's see what I have. I've got Avamath and Scratch, so I think I'm going to cd into Avamath. Maybe I have a project for this, Code Championship. And it looks like I've started this project a couple of times, and maybe you've experienced this as a developer yourself. You started a project maybe a couple of times, but you haven't gotten quite as far as you'd like. So I'm not exactly sure what's in any of those, but I'm going to start from scratch one more time and see if I can make some progress in this way. So I'm going to make dir, and this will be, it looks like I already have a project called Code Championship. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. What do I have that already exists? Is this, can I npm start? Yeah, let's see what we have here. Oh, we're spinning on localhost 3000. Okay, so it looks like I've got a little bit of navigation here, and it looks like I tried to implement React Blockly. I've decided after trying this that I am going to be using Scratch instead of this. So I would have to rip this out of here. I've also gone onto Fiverr and paid for new logos. So this was my old logo that was just something I made in PowerPoint. I've actually paid for logo that I'm pretty happy with, which is this logo right here. So I am going to start from scratch. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot done inside of here. This is just some initial routing. So I'm going to go ahead and start from scratch with React. So I'm going to kill this, and I'm going to cd up level, and maybe I'll call this something else. So I'll call this code championship. Maybe I'll rename the other one because I want to keep this the way it is. So I'll open this up in Finder, and code championship, I will rename that. I'll call this previous code championship. Previous. All right, now I'm going to create a new project. So I'm going to make dir, and I actually like to start projects on GitHub. So maybe I've got one with a similar name, but I'll give it a different name, or maybe put it in a different location. So here I'll create a new repository on my Avamath account, which is the company that this will actually pertain to, and then I'll call this code championship. Is that available? It looks like it is. And this will be public. I'll initialize it with a README so that I can git clone it. And here I'm going to create a git ignore for node. So I'm going to create that repository. Excellent. And then I'll go ahead and clone this down. And so I will git clone that link that I just copied into code championship, and I'm going to cd into code championship. Okay, this being the very start of the project, I'm going to go ahead and open this up in code and do a couple of things I like to do for any project as I get set up. So here in my git ignore, oh shoot, you know, I do want this to be a React project. I do want this to be a React project. So what I'm going to do is instead create it with the create React app. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this code championship. I'm going to delete code championship. And again, you might see that this is pretty non-linear and there's a lot of backtracking, and that's what actual software development, at least in my experience, looks like. So if what you're looking for is a straight walkthrough of something, this probably isn't going to be a great video for you. Okay, so let's try this again. We're going to go ahead and create a new repository, and this is going to be under Avamath, and it will be code championship. Excellent. And I'm not going to initialize it with a repository with a README or git ignore for node, because I'm going to be creating this project locally using create React app. And I'm not going to add any teams or collaborators right this second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cd up a level, and I'm going to rmrf code championship. Okay, and now I'm going to try this again. So I'm going to use create React app and create React app code championship. Okay, so while that's spinning, I'll go ahead and start thinking through what I want to do with my next steps. So I think the next couple of things I'll want to do is get this onto GitHub, so setting up a remote. So the next thing I'll probably do is a git init. The create React app is automatically going to do the npm init for me and create a package.json and a git ignore. So maybe I'll take a look at the git ignore because I'm developing on a Mac. I want to make sure that I add a .ds store on there so that that file is not floating around anywhere. But then I'll do a git init and then point it to the repository that I'm interested in and push it up to GitHub. So those are going to be the next couple of steps that I'm going to take as soon as this is done installing. I'm not doing this on the fastest network in the world, but it's a decently fast network. This is just a process that takes quite a bit of time because there are quite a few packages to install in order to create a new React app. All right, so it's letting me know that the next thing I'm going to do is cd into code championship. And let's go ahead and open this up in Visual Code before I run the npm start to see what I've got. Waiting and waiting. Maybe I've got other stuff running over here. few programs here. I won't be listening to music as I do this solve, so I'll quit out of Spotify. I won't be responding to text messages. I can quit out of messages, and I'll leave Chrome open because that's what I need in order to, and it doesn't seem like Visual Studio Code is opening on me, so I'll quit out of that and try that again. Code dot. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Okay, so package.json, how does this look? Name is Code Championship. That's good. That's what I want. And that all looks fine. I feel like it's missing on a couple of other properties that normally come in here, like author and get remote, but I'll go ahead and add those later. It's also got this README, which is for the default Create React app. Maybe I'll do one commit with this, but I really don't think that I'll be wanting a whole lot of this detail. That's just sort of the default here for the Create React app. It goes through a lot of different things, which are really nice as you're getting started with React, but I'm not looking to create necessarily a tutorial for React. I'm going to be creating my own project. So maybe that's what I'll do here. I'll say code championship. This is markdown, so that hash is just going to be an H1 as it gets translated to HTML. Okay, so I've got code championship, and that's good enough for now. I'll add a lot more detail later. And what else do I want to add? I want to say get init. Oh, I wanted to go to the get ignore and add the .ds store, so let's go ahead and do that. Oh, it's already here in miscellaneous. So it looks like Create React app already has that included, which is nice. So now I'm going to get init, and let's say get remote, and that remote will be this, get remote at origin, this one here. And let's get add, get commit, -m, create React app. And 14 files, that seems okay. And I will get push. And this first time it will require a get push set upstream origin master, which I'll do. Now what I'm going to do is create a separate branch. As I start working on this project, I'm going to be branching quite a bit in order to keep the master branch clean and free of errors. So I'm going to say get checkout -b to create a new branch. And what is the first feature I'm going to build? I think this is going to be site navigation and routing. So creating those different pages to toggle back and forth as we had talked about over here. So that routing from page to page, the about, code, and register, and maybe the about and home will just be the same page. So let's do that. So this is feature. This is a new feature that I'm adding, and it's client-side routing. I'm just going to say routing here. Cool. New branch routing. And now that I'm on this branch, what I'm going to do is take a look at the source. So I like to create a components folder. I'm going to create a components folder. And inside of here, I'm going to create a new folder called app. And inside of the app folder, I'm going to put app.css and app.js. And app.test, I'm actually going to remove the testing from this application for now. I will come back and add some testing in later, probably on a different branch, but for now I'm going to pull that out. And let's see, index.css. I don't think I'm going to keep this. I think I'm going to remove that. Index.js, that one I need. That's the one that's pulling in app. And logo.svg, I don't need the React logo as a part of this project. I'm also going to remove the register service worker. I've had some issues with that in the past with like caching things that I don't necessarily want cached. So I'll remove that. Maybe I'll add that back in later, but right now I just don't want any caching to happen. Okay, so that really slims down the files. And here in CSS, app.css, I'm actually going to remove too. I'm going to be creating my own CSS later. and then app.js. Let's see, I'm definitely going to be taking out the logo. Welcome to React. This is going to be Code Championship. Code Championship. And remove this. And app header, remove that. All of these classes I'm going to remove. Yeah, I think that's good. I can pull this out too. And I'm going to go ahead and make another commit actually. So git add, git commit, remove remove some React boilerplate. Okay, and I can git push that. And this is a new feature, so I'm going to be pushing that there. And so now what I'm going to do is add that navigation. So I'm going to create a new component here, a new folder called navigation, and a new file in here called navigation, a new component, navigation.js. And I'm just going to copy app.js, and I suppose I should have spun this up. I should have spun this up over here. So I don't think I need either of these. So navigation.js isn't a part of the project yet, but I've never run an npm start with this project, and I'd guess I'm going to get a few errors here. Yeah, failed to compile, cannot find ./app. So this is actually going to be in /components /app/app. Great, Code Championship. Excellent. Now what I'm going to be doing here in navigation is I'm going to be creating a UL. So this is my navigation. It's going to be a UL, and li. And for now, I'm going to keep this relatively brief. This is going to be a link, and I haven't brought in React Router DOM yet, which I'm going to need to. So I'm going to bring in React Router DOM in a second here. So let's go ahead and bring that in. So I'm going to say npm install React Router DOM --save. I think I'm working on a newer version of Node where --save isn't necessary, but I'm going to have it in there just in case. Okay, and now I'm going to say import. I want to bring in link, and I want to bring in, I think just link from React Router DOM. And in app.js, that's where I'll import browser router as router and route from React Router DOM. Okay, let's go ahead and npm start this again and see what new errors we're getting. Oh, it's going to be upset because the link has to be inside of a router. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that before I even get that error. So in order for that router to matter, I need to wrap everything inside of that. So I'm going to say router and then close that down at the bottom. Router. All right, and the link isn't showing up because I have not imported the navigation. So I'm going to import navigation from let's see, .wac navigation. Here we go. Route is defined but never used. Navigation is defined but never used. Here in my, oh, navigation is defined but never used. Okay, well, it's telling me right there what I'm doing wrong. So here I need to add navigation. There we go. The prop 2 is marked as required in link, but its value is undefined. That's right. In order for this navigation to work, I need to say 2. Oh, 2. There we go. And this is going to go to, I suppose, the home page, which is just the slash. And then this one won't exist yet, but I'll create another one for what is it? I said about, but code is the more important one, so that's going to be the next one. So code. Well, and they both say code championship, and instead this should say home, and this should say code. Try this again. All right, home and code, and they both look exactly the same right now because I don't have any of those routes set up. So in app.js, I need to create some of these routes. So here I'm going to say route. I feel like I need more than that, but I'll just say route for now. Maybe I need to wrap those in a switch. Let's see. So I'm going to say route. What is route? Route is maybe a self-closing tag. I'm going to look that up. React router. Yeah, this is almost exactly what I want right here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And I don't have these components yet. So this is going to be code. And this is going to be code. And this is going to be home, but I need to create those. So I'm going to say import home from .wac home, which doesn't exist yet. And I'm going to do the same thing for code. Code. Okay, so let's create those components. So I'm going to copy, oh, this one's getting a little big now. I guess I'll copy this, and this should be navigation, and this should be navigation. Okay, let's give this a shot. Inside of components, I'm going to create a new folder called home. So this is going to be a home view, new file, new component, home.js. And this is going to be home, exports home. And for right now, I'm just going to have h1, h1. This is the home view. I suppose I could just say home. And I might clean this up to be a function component later, but for now, I'm just going to leave it as a class component because I don't know, maybe I'll need some additional functionality that requires it to be a class. And I will say new folder, code, new file, code.js, and this will be code. All right, let's let's see if this works. React app, home, and code. Excellent. So that simple navigation right now seems to be working. And I probably don't want to have more than one H1. So up here in my app.js, maybe I'll remove this header. Yeah, maybe I'll remove this header for now, and I can add it back in maybe if it serves some purpose later. But for now, we've got home and code. Cool. This also has a React app favicon. I probably shouldn't do that in this branch. I should take care of that at some point, but not in this branch. This is my navigation branch, so I'm going to try to stick to that. And it seems like to a basic extent, I have navigation set up. So I'm going to go ahead and commit this. This will add simple browser navigation. All right. Cool. I'm not really sure what I want to tackle next. So there's home, there's code. One thing that I do like to do early in a project, if I can, is get the deployment working. But I know this is going to be a tricky thing to do. So maybe I'll try taking a few more small steps first. I don't know. Maybe a good thing to do would be create a list of things to do. So I'll hop over to my README and create my list here. I'll probably move this list over to issues at some point. But for right now, I'm just going to do this in my README. So I'm going to, in no particular order, I need to bring the Scratch GUI into the project. That I need to do. I need to bring the branding into the project. I probably shouldn't be doing this in this branch. So I'm going to switch back to master. Git checkout master. And maybe this is where I'll add those things to the README. Okay, so bring Scratch GUI into the project, bring branding into the project. What else? That's really a huge part of it. I need to attach a database, create a database, allow projects to be saved to the database. I need to allow loading of projects. I need to allow bots to be saved. I need to allow bots to be loaded. Create a database. So this all of this saving stuff kind of falls into that category. Create a database. Maybe it's connect and save to database. And this will be create a database is the first step of that. All right, bring branding into the project. Yeah, that'll probably, I don't know. I think the branding can actually come later. That'll be something I do after. So bring Scratch GUI into the project. Is that the next thing? So the routing's kind of working. Bring the Scratch GUI into the project. And then the Scratch GUI isn't exactly what I want to use. I want to clean things up a little bit for my purposes. It's actually got a lot of really cool features, but I don't need all of them. So I need to slim it down to just the things that I need. So how do I do that? So I'm going to I'll comment out features to slim it down. Okay, my guess is this list is actually going to grow as I go further into the project rather than shrink, at least for a little while. So I'll go ahead and push this for now. So this will be add initial to-do list. I'll say to-do list. All right, and now I'm going to merge that other branch. So I will git merge --no -ff feature routing, and I'll go ahead and delete that branch. I forget how to delete a branch. Delete branch locally. Yeah, I suppose I should delete the remote as well. Yeah, git branch delete. This was feature routing. And now I want to git push or delete feature routing. Cool. I think that takes care of it. npm start. Home and code, and the README includes all of these details. All right, so something I always tell my students is take small steps, and right now the only step I have is a pretty big step in front of me, which is to bring the Scratch GUI into the project. So I'm doing this really difficult thing right up front, but I don't really see another way. So the question is, how do I take this really big thing and break it down into smaller things? So this will include install Scratch GUI. What else? I need to make it display. Take Scratch GUI display on code view. And then I know that the Scratch GUI has a build process of its own that it uses, but I need to be able to build it and integrate it into my site. So I'm going to need to find a way to build it. And the issue I've had with trying to use it in the past is it uses a development version of React. It's also a lot of code, so it's pretty heavy, and I don't know if there's a way around that. I'm actually not too concerned because I imagine that those using the site will be pretty physically close to where I am, and I can convince them that it's worth waiting 15 to 30 seconds for everything to load up if that's really what it takes. But ideally, it would load up a little bit faster than that because that's kind of a long time. So make Scratch GUI display on WAC code view. All right, so that's what I'm going to do next. Add detail to Scratch GUI to-do list. Okay, so let's create a branch for that. I'm going to kill the server, and I'm going to get checkout-b. This is going to be feature integrate Scratch GUI. And let's see, what is that project called? LLK Scratch GUI, I think. There we go. All right. Yeah, let's give this a try. Yeah. Okay. So here, I'm going to try to integrate this into my project, and then, so right now, if I run npm build, oh yeah, maybe I did mean npm run build. And then I'm going to say serve-s build. Should be running on localhost 5000. So React app is normally on 3000. But if I duplicate and look to 5000, this is that build. And I can see over here, so here it's running the development build, and here it is running the production build. So that's good. And I need to make sure that that continues to happen after I integrate the Scratch code into my project. So let's take a look at this. We've got this code, npm install. Yeah. So I'm basically going to have two separate projects. Oh, create your own node environment application. Interesting. Okay. I wonder if this has a way for me to bring it into my code, this documentation. I mean, I'm probably not using this exactly as intended. I'm guessing it was intended as like download the whole thing, and then from there make edits. But I think I would like to. Let's give it a try. npm install. So maybe this will just create an entirely new. Will it actually give me a node module for this? Oh, this might take a while. Rollback failed optional. Oh yeah, I can hear my computer starting to work. There's so many dependencies for React, it's hard to find the one I'm looking for right now. This is going to be Scratch GUI. We got schema utils. Ooh, it is not even like 0.5% here. And I can hear my computer really working. Oh. That seems promising. I'm going to take a break and go grab some water. Nope, it's still going. All right, well, I think this is where I'll end the first video, and then the next thing we'll get to work through is me trying to integrate the Scratch GUI into my project. But so far, pretty smooth sailing, no huge bugs, but I estimate that is not how this next section is going to go. So I'll see you in a bit.